welcome back to another exciting edition of Fatal Showdown, featuring some of your favorite people in the SNK community. Myself, Abe, and Hell Pockets. Fellas, how you doing?
We're doing all right.
I want to say that things are looking pretty good, man. Like I'm doing excellent. I'm having a very nice year so far.
I think we
Fingers
all are.
crossed. Yeah.
I think what's really nice though is how it feels like there's a lot of chunky news for us to talk about. Ooh, that looks cool.
Yeah, he fell down. As soon as I moved my mic, he just fell. He legit just fell on top of Kyo like that, which is yeah, we won't get into that part, but it happens.
Bonded for life.
Yeah, bonded for life.
That's what they do, bro.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, we do have a lot of very, like you said, chunky topics floating around in the atmosphere currently.
Super thick.
It is a good time, and I say this a lot. I feel, but it feels like it's been happening a lot. It feels like it's a pretty good time to be kind of interested in SNK products right now.
I would agree. Yeah, very good time, and I do think one of those things is Fatal Showdown, right, fellas?
Fatal Showdown being at the top of the list, obviously.
Yeah. So we used to do this. This was it was a semi-regular thing we used to do. Then we all got busy and COVID hit at the same time.
Oh man.
It was pretty bad. And then what we did was we transitioned Fatal Showdown into just Pockets Weekly Wednesday reveals. That's interesting. I'll fix that in a moment. But we decided we were trying to bring it back during King of Fighters 15, but again, all of us were busy. And now, hey, we're back. What do you think, Abe?
I just think like timing's everything, and it's really fortunate and convenient right now that we have all this news. A lot of things have kind of slowed down for us, allowed us to have time to do something like this. Um, and to really reflect on the years past and what's going on with SNKWC and uh, the new Fatal Fury game and what's up with the community and what's going on with King of Fighters and it's just a lot. And
Mm-hmm.
fortunately, it's like we got this nice window here that we could get this show back on the road, right?
Yeah. I think this is the best time for us in
Mm.
particular to bring this back because there's a lot to discuss. There's a lot going on. Um, for me, everyone's playing this Mark of the Wolves game now. It's weird. I've been playing this game for like 25 years and no one's been touching. Now all of a sudden everyone's playing it. Oh my god, I like it.
Everybody's an expert, man. Like I'm gonna say straight up right now because I definitely have played or tried to play the game for a long time, but this is the best I've ever done at it. So I'm feeling myself right now in regards to Mark of the Wolves.
You know what? I've been drawing a lot of parallels to the time I've spent trying to learn Tekken because I've gone pretty hard in Tekken in the past like 2 years. And it's like I've made it. I'm pretty proud of myself there too of like the massive improvement and how much info and like studying you got to do in that game.
Mm.
And it's like I can very recently just in my brain compare like man I was horrible at that game, right? And it's crazy coming from a game like that and then trying to go into a game that I feel like I failed to learn time and time again, where it's like whether it be because not enough people played it at the time, I could only play Gibby, and then Gibby's arm was always falling off, or like Nocturnal couldn't play, and then your interest was like kind of I'll play you, but I don't really care. Like like I don't know if we're trying to get good, so like we never aligned to like how much effort we're going to put into learning this. But right now, what is nice, speaking on what Gibby is talking about, is it does seem to have reinvigorating people actually really wanting to learn the game proper, right?
Mhm.
Like
Yes.
we have more. I have more people to play with. Like I've played, like already playing 5 different people is like 500% more than what I used to play. So, and it's helped a lot. I think what was it? Maybe like close to like 3 weeks ago, like we really started trying to get better and learn the
Yeah, we just
game.
decided to go in because and yeah, because of City of the Wolves being in the pipeline. But I think I mean, for me specifically, the time that was the time between the last time I played that game semi seriously and
Mm,
now, I'm a completely different fighting game player, and
mm,
I'll even echo some of your sentiments because when I went into Tekken 8, I'm thinking like, damn, I'm absolute dust. I'm dusty
mm.
butt, right? Don't even get no ego. You're gonna lose a lot, but just try to absorb all the information. And I think I did an okay job at absorbing the information that I have retained in Tekken 8. And so I thought, maybe my brain is ready to wrap itself around the concepts of Mark of the Wolves. And lo and behold, I am understanding this game at a level that I never did. I'm understanding interactions. There's like that video that Knock posted in our Discord earlier, or
Mm.
like that Kane versus DeMarco, the Chinese players,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
like the Kane 100% DeMarco, and I know exactly why it worked that way. I was like, dude, I didn't know you could do that, but I know why it works.
I think ultimately the benefit of having somebody that's like close to your level, also taking the game pretty serious, is a pretty helpful thing. Um, I think you and I have helped each other learn a lot of other games too. It's not just this, but I mean, I don't know everything we've ever commentated, we've probably had a hand in like playing each other and getting better, and then us obviously taking our own time to play with other people. But um, yeah, it's been a pretty as close to as good as it gets to having a training partner, other people to play with, and I've been trying to reach out and play more people, and it just feels like I'm actually really learning the game. When I feel like so, Gibby, you could probably confirm this or not, but I don't know the history of the community for Garo Mark of the Wolves. Um, but I wonder, like, has had this reputation of being like a very hard to get into kind of game? Because I don't see a lot of people in our community really saying that they're necessarily like Garo players. Like they play it, but not to where it's like you can describe me as a Garo player, kind of.
So most people never did get into the game seriously. A lot of them
Mm,
did feel it was a bit too hard to get into, mostly because when they played, the first thing they did was play like say like a me or a knock or like a strong player, and
yeah.
they're like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to compete with this, and they just stopped. A lot of people played it for fun. They're like, oh, check this out. I could do this 1, 2, 3 combo, and they would go from there. And then when they entered a tournament, they would not do well.
Mm,
Most people never did well in the older days. I think outside of myself, Knock, Justin Wong, and Magician, who's no longer competing in events. I want to say no one else really did much until like the past 6 years,
mm.
um, which is kind of unfortunate because there's a lot of people that love this game. It's just they don't play it. It's the same thing
I
people
got a
attribute.
question. I got a question literally about that, but we'll save it to like when we actually start talking about this topic about like people that play that enjoy
I already know what the
the
question
game
is.
but
Yeah,
don't play
yes,
it.
I already know what the
But
question is.
just to put a pin on that because I have something to say about that later. But yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, because what I was going to lead into is 100% what you're going to talk about, but we could do
Oh,
that. We can
okay,
do that later. We can do that later.
okay, okay.
But something happened a few weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
And it's one of the reasons why I got sick, and I'm still sick and sound weird. SWC, everybody. Um,
SNK World Tour Finals, baby.
SNK
Talk
World
about
Championship Finals, please.
Excuse me, what?
something chunky, huh?
SWC World
Please.
Championship.
Talk
Please.
about thick experiences.
Mm. So we were all there.
Yep.
You two were there as commentators. I was
Yep.
there as event staff production. I ran the tournament, which was fun. I got to yell at almost all the players. You guys got to yell for the player. You got to root for players on stream or trash them. I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, not a lot of trash. I mean, these guys are all really, really good.
Mm.
So I don't think there was one bad match, to be honest. They were all pretty exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
even the pools matches were pretty darn cool, man. Like I had the we commentated Regal Sam versus Reiki like early in the morning,
that was the
Mm.
first
and
match I put on
that
stream.
yeah
Yeah.
that was a barn burner, man. Like did not know how that was gonna go.
No, it was good. Reiki, Reiki had been practicing with Luis Cha up until that point.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, man.
he did
It's
pretty
paying
well.
off for sure. He's beating my butt.
Did he get a perfect on the opening round? There was something close to that where it was
He
like,
he darn
wow.
near OCV'd him, bro. Like
Oh
that's
yeah,
why
that's what it
we were
was.
just like, whoa, like what's going on? When did this happen?
Yeah, it's like he knew, man, this is my moment. Like this, all this work I put into, I'm about to make it happen, and I'm on stream. That's got
Hmm.
to be, you know. Here's the thing about Reiki. Reiki is will rise to the occasion, and here's the thing. While he has been successful, he's also very much willing to fail, and that is a special thing in players that people are willing to put themselves to be in a tournament like this or to be like all eyes on me and be willing to fail.
Yeah.
And Reiki it has paid off for him many times because he has that type of will for himself and bravery to do stuff like that. So it's nice to see a player like him do well. So he's been around for a while now. Now we can say that he's been
Yeah,
around for a
man. He's
while
an
now.
old man Reiki, bro.
Yeah.
Uncle Reiki.
Uncle Reiki.
I mean, that's what I'm sticking with. I mean, that's what it
Dude.
is. I didn't get so the one downside for me is I didn't get to enjoy the matches the way most other people did. I was running around trying to find matches. I was running around, make sure the tournament was running smoothly. Uh, I got so many steps in that tiny ass venue, but it was very good. Got to work with a lot of the players. Got to meet some players that have never really been to the states, which is nice.
Yeah. Actually, speaking on that, we at least I did. I think one of the first people that I met. I know Chris, you hung out with him the day before, but we hung out with Inferno Kong for a little bit.
Yeah.
On the first day I got there, which was that a Thursday or Friday? I don't.
I think that was a
Thursday.
Thursday because
Yeah.
I met him on Wednesday.
Okay, so yeah, one of the players I got to meet early, and we had lunch, and we walked around Hollywood, and that was cool. Actually, you know what? If I could talk about it really quick, it was pretty special for me that it was in California and in Hollywood for this event, because man, did it like bring back some really happy memories of nostalgia of like, damn, dude, I used to go to our arcades all over this city, not Hollywood, but like all over LA, and like the cities that lead up to it. And it was just cool, like having all those people that used to come out to those arcades come to this event right
Yeah.
here in Hollywood and seeing their faces and seeing some of the people even that did so well be there in the tournament. And it's pretty cool, man. I'm really curious what everybody's opinion on what they thought of Hollywood is, because we live here, we know what it's like.
Mhm.
But for some people to come out here and be a part of it, and the LA Marathon was happening at the same time,
Yo,
I I wonder how that was for them. I don't know.
I had to guide Sunday morning. I had to guide. I think it was me and one of the other production guys. We had to take like essentially. You remember in elementary school when they'd have one teacher in front, one teacher in the back, and like all the kids in
Mhm.
line. We had to
Mhm.
do that with the players to guide them through the marathon.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, it was like four different languages needing to be spoken. And we're like, hey guys, look, check it out. When one person's good, we're gonna tell you when to go, right? And you run to him. And we had to make them run like the marathon's going this way, and we had the players run that way. It was fun.
Did they have backpacks too? Yeah, they had
Yes,
their
oh,
sticks and
yes.
stuff, right?
That's
Oh
what.
my
Yeah,
god,
that's
that's
bro.
why I equated it to
horrible.
elementary school.
It was a
So,
field
so
trip.
like the whole morning of that, I'm in my bedroom. I'm in the hotel room, just like, dude, I'm about to get arrested for like starting a mosh pit in the freaking the marathon because I'm just gonna put through the middle of the traffic because I got a schedule to keep, right? And luckily, by the time I had to actually be at the venue, the marathon had already passed by. But like I was telling chat, like guys, I'm gonna make it, but there might be some news stories about me getting through that across that street. Gonna have to pull off a little bit of a wall of death simulation, you know.
Hmm. Thankfully, it didn't happen.
It did not
Thankfully,
happen.
so we thought it was gonna be a much bigger issue, and it didn't. It turned out not to be much of an issue at all. Um, turns out most people that run in the marathon are just walking, and they don't really care.
Well,
Yeah,
at that
just
point,
hanging out, dog.
when we started across, yeah, it's just like the overachievers have left a long time ago.
Mhm.
Sweat
You know,
Lords is already
and,
past the building.
yeah, the Sweatlers is bailed. That's why we were in a Discord talking about this, and I was like one of the beyond the staff that made it there before I did. I was like one of the first commentators there, and I was like, guys, don't worry, like all the tryhards are it's over. They left already. Like these
He already
people are
won the race.
yeah, like what difference does it make if you kind of like semi get in the way? Just like try to run with them for like a second, and then that's it. Find an open spot, and you know. It was cool. Oh,
So,
but speaking on the venue, is something I wanted to talk about. So when we got there, right, Chris saw it for the first time.
Yeah.
We were there with Infernal Kong, standing in front, and man, was it like a very crazy feeling of like, wow, dude, this is like a real thing.
Yep.
You know, it's at an actual venue here in Hollywood. Like it's not like it's like sideways Hollywood or like somewhere where it's like it's Hollywood, but it kind of isn't. It's like no, it's dead center in Hollywood.
I'll street from
And
Capitol Records, baby.
dude, like I was just watching Ocean's 11, and there's a scene where Brad Pitt's in front of Capitol Records. I was like,
Hey,
dude,
yo.
I was like, dude, the venue's like right there, wherever he's standing. Because I literally stood like the distance is like almost exactly the same. I was like, dude, I know where Brad Pitt was standing in Ocean's 11. And but yeah, man, it was just so cool seeing it on the marquee, and then walking in and seeing like staff and the people I've been seeing for a long time. Yeah, the 10 folks. It was cool, man. I mean, I've never personally ever operated in like a theater before like that before. Obviously, we were lucky to work at like Mandalay Bay. Like that was it's crazy own experience too.
mm,
But also a theater is like a trip too, because that's like things that we're pretty familiar with, right? As far as like going to see concerts and going to see performances, it's like. But I've never been on the other end of part of it, you
Yeah.
know. So, anyways, I know I had a moment. I know, like even Infernal Kong and you. I even did an interview with you, asking you like,
Mm.
"Wow, does it feel like to be
I'll tell you,
here?"
I'll tell you right now, man. That feeling did not go away all weekend. Like every day was in a surreal way, like the best day ever for the KOF fandom. I mentioned it on broadcast that we've been doing this KOF. I guess you could call it KOF esports now.
Mhm.
Esports thing for over 10 years now. Giby obviously longer, and it felt like the first step, despite it being a big payoff of all that 10 years worth of effort,
Mhm.
because now we got that solid foundation, and boy did we nail it, beginning to end. And the ending, man, the ending to SWC finals. What an ending. Lagia finally surpassing the master.
well, that
All,
isn't
all
even.
of them, all of them,
Yeah,
man.
that
He
makes
suppressed all of them.
because I was gonna say I'm like, whoa, there's more to it than just that.
There's definitely more to it than him and MDAT. Dude, that guy beat like the Mount Rushmore of KOF 15, 14, 13. Like everything that most people know about KOF in the last decade and a half, he just wiped them up.
Mm. So yeah, that I mean, just that both top eights, the LCQ top eight was ridiculous. Paco's run was so good,
What a show he put
man.
on in the LCQ. Oh my god,
Mhm.
what a show!
Like, I was like, man, there's no way Paco's not getting top eight tomorrow or over the weekend. And unfortunately, I think he got ninth, right? He got ninth or he
He
got
got close, yeah.
13th, one or the other. I think was it Layak? Yeah, Layak got eighth.
Yeah.
That performance there in that match to get top 8 was like, wow.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It was really good. Um, seeing all those players show up for this, like there was a KOF 14 one that happened. I want to say in like 2017 in Japan. Um, it was good, but this was so much like this is probably overall the best just KOF tournament I've seen. It was just ridiculous just seeing every beefy like all the beefiest players from around the world just come and play each other, and not only that, just there were a lot of I don't want to say upsets, but there were a lot of surprises. Um, a lot of people didn't expect certain players to make it as far as they did. Some expected some to make it further, and they lost in like first, second round.
Yep. There were some people that weren't even in the top 8 of the LCQ that were like definitely on everybody's like, fantasy brackets as probably being in the grand finals picture and just didn't even make it out of top 32 in that situation. It was a really rough couple of days for players, man. I mean, I'm sure they had a great time, but the amount of mental fortitude they had to retain day in and day out, I'm certain that a lot of those guys probably feel like a lot better about their game now because there was some guys that were like, dude, I did not expect to make it this far, even though I qualified, you know? And I won a game on stream. And I'm like, bro, well, you got to win 2 games next year, right?
Mm-hmm. Gotta win all your games on stream next time.
Yeah, there it is, man.
And
That's how it starts.
gotta win all your games on stream because every match is gonna be streamed. That's
Exactly.
it. Win. Go. Do it.
I
We
think
believe in
this.
you.
I think this event too, especially for the people that were there, and probably mostly for the people there, is wow, did it really drive the point home of like these offline experiences are so important. It's just so different, like I don't know if you could get the level of goosebumps you can being there, like watching it on screen,
Mm.
at home. While I'm sure the tournament was great because it's objectively was a really really good tournament, but it's like being there and experiencing like the vibes and energy of the players and the crowd of like they knew that this was special.
Yeah.
Everybody felt like this was a special thing. Everybody who was there came away with like, wow, that was an experience. And you don't really hear that anymore, really, because it's like if we could describe all the opportunities for that to happen, like what? It's like, oh, I went to Evo, and while that is an experience, it's usually like filled with a lot of stuff you don't want to do at an Evo, right? Because it's like, I gotta travel here, do this, and you know, the point that you get to like actually just game and tournament, it's not so like it's too much stuff going on, on like an Evo weekend to be like, wow, what a phenomenal experience. At least comparative to this, because this is strictly it's your game, baby. We're here to highlight you, the players, commentators, the community, and I don't think it's happened in this scale possibly ever, at least not executed this well. And it was just electric
Yeah.
being there, man. And going all the way to the end and the announcements and everything, seeing all the people. Some of the people I haven't seen in forever were there, you know. So yeah, that's definitely something I really want to highlight it before like I moved on from talking about the experience. Is just like everybody there was electric, man. I don't know how to describe it, and that really drove the point home. Like offline events are so damn important. Like
Mm-hmm.
really.
I feel like the organizers knew, bro. Like the when you talk about seeing people there that you hadn't seen in years, and these aren't just anybody. These are people who help build what we're doing right
Oh yeah.
now. You know, like
Hmm.
seeing you hang in the audience, and I know he goes to Evo too, but like seeing him there was just like, damn, bro, like this is a lot of your work. You know, a
Seeing
lot
the
of you,
Santa Ana
Gibby's
crew,
work, a
the
lot of
LA
Abe's work.
people.
Saw Hans DJ in the after party, and
That
I'm
was
like,
wild.
bro,
I'm like,
like,
oh man, I
oh
haven't
man,
seen him
we wouldn't even be here if
forever.
it wasn't for Hans, man. Not me, at least.
We haven't even talked about the after party. Haven't gotten into the after party. Most people don't know the thing existed.
Hmm.
Bro, like, I'm just saying, like, seeing Hans there was just, and seeing everybody else, it just really, it made it hard not to be emotional every night.
Mm.
You know, every night it was so cool. I mean, the tournament itself was great. The tournament was amazing, but
Yeah.
just seeing everyone totally vibing on the same level and remembering where we came from in that regard, like, dude, it was nothing
Well,
like it.
the other thing that drove the point home is that we were all there.
Yeah,
It
that
was
was also a
me,
big thing.
you, Gibby, a lot of the same production people that we've been way, way back. Even like the first Evo that had KOF 13. I don't mean like in like an official capacity, but when they had that side tournament, Gibby, the one where you brought
The
the
one I
unit
ran,
over.
yes. Yeah.
Yes. So that a lot of those guys were there, and that
Mhm.
was the first of like actual instance of that community since then of like a game that's gotten a big highlight for Evo and in general for KOF and SNK to go back. I don't know. That was 2011, right? To go to 2024, dude. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
damn, man. It's cool. It was pretty cool. Like it's hard to put words to like what it felt like, which is my point again is like being there in person just meant so much.
Mhm. No, it was a big deal. I do think having everybody there that hasn't seen each other and like because people need to remember, not everybody goes to Evo.
Yeah.
No.
Not everyone leaves to go to various events, and this is the first time some of the international players have been in California.
Yep.
For some first time, some of them have been to the U.S. and they were just excited, like, man, this is great, this is tight, and then they were just enjoying themselves, and like a lot of them were very emotional. So a lot of the spectators were SoCal based. Most of the spectators were SoCal or Mexico based.
Yeah.
Um, and you hear it in the crowd. You hear like pretty much everyone rooting for Mexico. It was great. It was great, especially because you hear it and you just see all like the players that are like, oh man, I gotta go up against a Mexican on stage. Oh shit! And they're like, damn it, the pressure's gonna be so high.
Yeah.
And it was a lively crowd, and it wasn't the biggest crowd in there, right?
No.
But it was like one of the most passionate crowds I've seen.
Yeah,
KOF is
you
always
wouldn't
that.
be able to tell. They were loud. They were so loud back there that
Yeah,
like the mics were picking it up, and I'm like, hey man, this is where I thrive.
that's what you want though. Like you
Yes.
want that to happen
Almost
because
like
man,
Evo 2012, man. Remember that?
I
How
remember
loud
that.
it wasn't there, bro.
Yeah, that was a good year too.
Yeah, that was a great year.
But having all the players show up and people like there were some people that were at the event that I hadn't seen in like a decade. They stopped
Hmm.
playing. Some of them stopped playing with 13. Some of them showed up for one event for 14. Some never like just don't go to Evo. Things like that. It was really nice. Um, I got to interact with a lot of players that just don't go to events at all unless there's a tournament. They're not going anywhere, right? They don't go to casuals, locals. They don't play online. Got to talk to some people that were just very emotional, like, "Oh my god, I remember when we started doing this, and look where we are now. This is something that like some of you guys are working for years." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah," and it was nice. Like, I'm like, "Oh man, all these people are so emotional over these things that some of us have been doing," and I'm like, "This is normal, right? Right?" Because like I this is what I normally do. So for me, it's like, "Oh, this is just the thing," and then having people, uh, that they're like in tears. Or almost in tears, either or, and they're like, I'm like, oh
It
man,
almost got me a couple times too, man. Like,
I was like, I'm like, oh man, this is important. Oh no.
I think what's really obvious now, especially for this event, is like the passage of time,
Hmm.
right? Like you're like, man, like you said, I haven't seen a lot of these guys. Like I first was introduced to some of these people in like 2011, like 2010, like that far back, and then seeing them like all this time, and I'm like, damn, do you guys even play games anymore? Like, I mean, because it's different. We have different perspectives, right? Because we've been working games for a while now. We've been doing like every SNK game streaming, playing since then,
Hmm.
right? Doing podcasts, whatever we could possibly do related to the community. And a lot of people didn't. A lot of people left. They do their own thing, have families, and have new jobs, and maybe they became a player of some other game or just moved on completely. But they felt it important enough for them to be there, right? To see possibly one of the most diverse and skilled tournaments that's ever been ran for this game. um Obviously there were some people that couldn't make it, but I think this is the best example of what the community as a whole can offer at that highest level,
Mm.
right? When you have people from everywhere all over the world, and it proved the importance of something like this. It proved like the value, it basically made its own money back and then some, right? Where it might have been like, yeah, we'll see what happens, and hopefully it's good. But it's like, nah, man, it was beyond good. It was phenomenal. Um, yeah, some of these people were like, I'm like, man, these players are much younger than me. And like they're like, it's great. They have a great career ahead of them, and
Hmm.
they're doing so great against like legendary players. And I don't know, man. Yeah, to wrap up my feelings, it was just like I said, I had goosebumps more than once. I was talking about it on stream all the time. Like, what an honor it is to be able to commentate this. Is very meaningful, and again, great to be working with you guys, and especially seeing you and Chris there. It was a very full circle moment to a long passage of time since at least I started doing this.
Well, because
I
you
think I'd
two,
like to. Oh, go ahead.
no, you go. I was gonna say you two started at about the same time doing this.
Yeah, we did. We definitely started KOF 13 specifically at the same time, but I mean, I had never worked with anyone that I ever felt would be like, hey, this is like my road dog, as some of the people in the business call it, right? And then me and Abe got together at Southtown a couple times, got together at SCR. And honestly, there still ain't nobody better I can work with than him. I don't think I can work with anybody as comfortably as you two. So, being able to share that weekend with you guys was extra special for me. But I think what I like to wrap up my feelings around SWC is on the more event coordinator side of things, because I want to say they finally did it, man. Like, I'm not saying that other SWC finals weren't this good, but once again, I want to restate that the baseline that SNK has placed as set for itself with this finals is pretty respectable. And I think they can only go up from here. So I'm expecting more good things in the future.
So, with that, I want to again, and I'm sure you guys saw the tweet from Ultra David, but Ultra David was the lead on this project. Pretty much everything that, not everything, but like 90% of stuff that happened in the finals was him. But maybe more, I don't know. But it was him working with SNK trying to make this happen. One of the benefits I feel that he had was that he also got to do an event there a few weeks prior with Capcom Cup Finals, the same exact venue.
Oh yeah.
And so that helped the team prepare for this as well. A lot of last minute changes, but a lot of people. There were unfortunately a lot of complaints from the community regarding SWC throughout the course of last year. Um, you would not have been able to tell at the show that anyone had anything negative to say at all about the tour. The show itself, like that show, more than made up for any of the issues that happened. Um, Unfortunately, we had 4 players that weren't able to show due to them. 3 of them unable to get their visa, one unable to get his passport. But the show still ran extremely well. The players weren't mad. No. Some people in the community were upset. There was a lot of don't run this in the U.S. All this kind of stuff. But I think this went great. Like, don't get me wrong. The place I wanted to run this initially was Mexico City. I've told you guys this. I've been very open. I wanted this to run in Mexico City for very obvious reasons.
Yeah, whatever reasons you want to get me out there, I'm down.
Yeah, I know.
Let's go, baby.
I'm down to go.
But I'm learning more and more the reason a lot of esports are held in the U.S. is I've learned it's cheaper to fly people here than it is to certain other countries, depending on where you are, which is strange to me considering how expensive everything is here
Yeah,
versus those
and
other
how
countries.
weird it is about getting people in. I just read a story about how like some Apex team from Australia can't get in the U.S. for the finals, and I'm like, wow, dude.
The Tekken, the Pakistani Tekken players can't get into Japan because
I saw that.
the Japanese embassy in Pakistan moved and they weren't taking any visas or something like that. It sucks.
Yeah, I saw that. It's such a bummer.
But yeah, back to David. David, all of you know who Ultra David is. David is now working full time with Tenno. I mean, not for the past few years. Has been working full time with Tenno, and has been helping put on productions and events the past few years. He is great at this. I was so happy to work with him. And he genuinely wants good things for the community because hey, he is the community.
He is of the community. Yeah.
This is the important thing that people forget. When it's community people running the events, they're gonna generally be. It's if they have a passion for it, it's gonna be good. All right, you do have those community people that don't do a great job, but David has been doing this for a long time. Like, don't get me wrong, all of us have been doing it at the same level for roughly the same amount of time, right? But David has been in there deeper than we have, right? Because he's in there with like all these different companies, whereas we're just doing like SNK. I'm doing like Bamco, sometimes Capcom, sometimes whatever, but David has been doing so much for so long, and it was so great to see him do something that isn't just commentary, do something that isn't just being a personality. This is something it seems like he's wanted to do for a long time. And guess what? He actually loves King of Fighters. When this came out, this was the only game he was playing.
I actually had a moment to talk to him, like when we were like wrapping up and we were taking like crew photos or like the end of the event basically. And I told him, and I was like, it's really nice to work with people that actually really, really care, and you could tell that they really care. Like it's a really different experience, right? Because that's not always the case. Like work's work for some people, and that's fine, But you could see in the details when somebody really cares. Like let me make sure these people are taken care of. Let me make sure this aspect's taken care of. Let me make sure like the talents properly selected, like all these things that fell into place really well. You could tell that just from talking to Dave, seeing him there working, you could tell that he really cared. So it's cool, man. We don't usually get a lot of people like that, and then they don't usually last too long because they get pretty burnt out when they do. So at least for the moment, it's great to have somebody like that on board helping
Mhm.
such big things happen for the community. So shout outs to David.
Oh, sorry, Chris.
Whole crew was phenomenal, man. Like, I think that was probably one of the smoothest run events I've ever had a chance to be talent aboard. Uh, Once, like you said, everyone had a stellar time. I didn't see anyone remotely upset about anything. And I've been to a lot of these events, both tour finals as well as open bracket, and you usually expect a certain amount of drama surrounding running an event, but
Mm.
it just went so smoothly. Like, I almost thought that I had to ask, like, hey, are you guys keeping something from us? Like, is there like some huge disaster under the rug right now that we're gonna find out about when we go back home on Monday? And nah, no one had anything bad to say, only good things. So once again, man, like, I think for the staff that worked the event and for SNK, like, this is easily the best SWC finals ever. This is a great baseline, and I think it's a great reason to keep that relationship going.
Especially since it seemed the future is pretty bright. We
Yeah.
haven't really talked about the upcoming game, but this is all definitely a great foundation for what it's gonna look like for the future of SNK fans and fighting game players.
Mm-hmm. Um. Oh, sorry. No, I was Excuse me. Sorry. Whenever I cough, but yeah. Apparently they had people, Maximilian, Justin Wong, Kayana, and some other news outlets,
Mhm.
playing Fatal Fury City of the Wolves at the show, and I'm like, we're here. Where's the game? um,
I'm sure you weren't the only one. I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure there was rumblings about it.
Um, the For those who didn't see it for some reason, Fatal Fury City of the Wolves got an actual gameplay reveal at
Mhm.
SWC. We got two different trailers. We got the one trailer showing off the system, um, which is all like motorcycle themed. Um,
Mhm.
and then everyone's like, "Oh, okay, cool, cool." And then it showed off gameplay and characters, and man, that pop for T-Zoc in there.
He
I
looks
was He
great.
looks great. I was on stage. So when we were doing the award ceremony, I was on stage helping with the medals and the checks and everything. Um, and so as soon as like T-Zoc pops up, I see my eyes go like, "Dah!" I just yell it out loud, and then the crowd does the same thing. I'm like, "Yes." Preacher didn't get a pop. Preacher got a ooh like
What
you.
does this
That's what he did.
mean?
Yeah.
I want to see. I want to see where this goes.
So
Well, there was Joe was on one of the key arts.
yes.
Bro, I'm
So
trying not to be conspiracy theory
what
about
does
the key
that
art.
mean? And
What is this?
Andy was
Where
there.
is this going?
So, you know, I don't know.
I don't know, Chris. What was Joe dressed in again in the key art?
Joe was dressed in a training jacket, but he also had his Muay Thai shorts on and his foot wraps on. So I'm like, bro, this guy is like either training or training somebody else, but he's also
Hmm.
ready to go at any moment.
What's
So I'm like,
Andy doing? He's going to dinner? What's going on?
yeah, he's over there like with like the suspenders on. I'm like, bro, where did this come from?
I've seen a lot of people saying Andy's going to show up like Young Geese. Because again, for those who don't know, the long time conspiracy has been that Geese is Andy's real dad, and they're like, oh yeah, he's dressed just like Young Geese.
YUNG geese?
Yeah,
Wait,
Young
so
Geese.
so their theory is that Geese is Andy's real dad, but he kills Jeff for taking care of his kid. Wow, man.
So
No good
that's
deed
not
goes
part of it.
unpunished.
Geese had no idea. The joke is that Andy is a brother and an uncle all at the same time to Ruck.
Weird.
But yeah, like looking at them, I mean, in all honesty, like so you guys know this. I don't want them in the
Mm.
game. I personally do not want them in the game. Looking at them in this key art, they don't look like they're dressed to fight. Andy's never fought in the goddamn like. Oh hey, look, I'm a stock market guy now.
Hold on. Let me start my own little conspiracy theory about this
Oh
Andy
boy,
thing,
here
'cause
we go.
I got an idea.
Go.
I think that he's like, yo, I heard there's this chef that's phenomenal, but also has a secret technique that he's mastered that only shows somebody that works at the restaurant. So I'm about to sneak in, try to get this technique because I got to get into this Fatal Fury tournament, whatever's going on. I got to get in the mix in Southtown and figure out something new to top all these new fighters coming out. You know,
Oh,
maybe
he's a
it's
sushi chef.
bro. I mean, here's the thing. He's a tryhard, right? Like,
Mhm.
Yeah, he is.
and he's a try. He tried so hard. He went undercover as a chef or like as a waiter or something to try to get this info, bro. The secret scrolls, exactly. The secret scrolls.
This time
How do
I'll
you
get
get
the
that?
better of Terry for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be very honest. I could have sworn the key art had Joe with a broken leg.
Let me look.
Oh,
Actually, I'm gonna look at that
No,
right now. You got me
it doesn't.
worried.
It doesn't. It doesn't. I've been looking
oh,
at
okay.
it the whole time we've been having this conversation. I'm like,
Okay.
why do
Well,
I
I was
remember
about
that? And then
Oh, what happened?
I remembered why. But yeah, I generally don't want them to come back personally. And this they could be in the story. They could be heavily involved and featured. Like say like Dad Kim. He was in Mark of the Wolves, but he's only in Dong's end, not ending. Dong's win pose if he wins with a certain move. And he just comes down. He's like, "Hey, you stop that shit!" Like that's what he does. So that's what I'd like to see these two come back as. Worst case, Andy's technically in the ending for Hokutomato as well. One of the other conspiracy theories was that Grant is actually Andy, or Geese is actually Andy, or Geese is actually Grant because
I could see
the
that.
mask.
I could see that. Yeah.
And in like the Mark of the Wolves story, Hokutomato was like, "Oh, hey, you give off the same vibe as my master." And so people are like, "Oh, Andy got buff," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, but where do you get the height from?"
The only thing that made me think Grant was Geese was the sweep. They both have the same sweep.
His Farsi too is
Mhm.
like it's the same.
It's
the
just stop.
yeah.
Hakyokuken, man, that's what it is. Hakyoku Seiken.
It would be cool seeing like certain like I do want certain characters to come back. We don't know who is coming back just yet, other than whatever's what was in that voice trailer.
A lot. That's another conspiracy theory hive right there, man. We heard voices of characters that we know from Mark of the Wolves, and we also heard voices of characters that are like, well, they definitely weren't in Mark of the Wolves.
Mhm.
So what does that mean?
Dude, it just hit me.
Hmm.
What if we're not getting any of those characters, right? Any of those like non-Garo characters because they're like, "Hey, check this out. You guys saw the trailer and there's still no lane switching, right?" It was like new real bouts coming too in 5 years.
No.
Here we go, baby.
We're just letting you know we're cooking these characters right now.
Andy
but
and
they're
Joe
not
about
ready.
to be in that, bro. You know, they're gonna be in it.
Well, it would make sense for them to be in that for sure.
Yeah. And the thing that
I also noticed so that other trailer is also stage based, right? And I don't know, I haven't looked at any of the footage from the influencers recently, but I'm wondering, did they actually have the stage titles on those videos at any point?
I
Because then
don't
you can
think
like maybe
so.
match up some of those. Because I'm wondering, like, hey, that Raiden is stage. I don't think that was anywhere on the map trailer.
I can go back and
The
look.
amusement park.
Yeah, the Dream Amusement Park.
Yeah, I don't think that was on the trailer for the with the audio and the map.
So
So I was like, well,
are you trying to say that there's characters that are supposed to be in that stage that didn't get revealed in that voice?
possibly, because like I'm like, bro, that's like a whole location they didn't put up on the trailer. So we may have only gotten like 20% of what's going on in the game from that trailer, and then we got another 20% from all the footage that Max and Justin got to put out. This is why I didn't want to go down this rabbit hole, man.
Well, you always have to go down the rabbit hole. This is just
Bro,
the way
I
it
can't
works.
help it.
So the frustrating thing is Oda-san and the team have confirmed that this is the seventh, quote unquote, seventh game in the canon timeline, and the community has always figured there's only 5 games because 2 of the real about games are supposed or anything special is not story. And Real About 2 has always it's always been a mix. Some people have said Real About 2 is canon, others have said it's not, but it's got Geese in it, so people just assume it's not because Geese is there. I do think if they make it canon, it makes sense because that opens doors for Rick and Zhang Fei to be a part of the game. Or just make First Contact the canon game and use that
That was
instead.
the PlayStation version, right?
No, that's Wild Ambition, and there's Wild Ambition and Dominated Minds are probably what you're thinking of. I'm talking about the
Oh,
Neo
okay.
Geo Pocket game. Make that game canon
Oh,
and go from there because that game
forgot
has
about
some
that.
characters. It's got Alfred too. Throw him in there. Why not? But
Geese isn't in that either.
um, it's hard to say exactly what's going to come out of this game. I do think they're going to get a bit ambitious in terms of roster. I would like to see what the story is. I've always liked the Fatal Fury storyline. I'm not going to say I haven't. Um, I just like the overall SNK storyline. I don't care for the King of Fighters storyline, but SNK main storyline I've always liked because the whole thing connects. It's cool. Like all the way from like
Yeah.
Last Blade all the way to like Savage Rain. It's all one timeline.
I've
Um,
I've always liked specifically the aesthetic that Fatal Fury goes for, where it feels like very like late 1970s, mid 1980s type of vibe of like the gritty streets of the
Yeah.
US, you know? I just like always connected with that, especially being such a like an 80s and 90s action fan of like I get these references. Like it's like built into me, bro. It's like in my DNA. So seeing the aesthetic also get kicked up a notch in that direction by having a very comic book style, American comic book style aesthetic,
yeah.
really just driving it home. And then they give you the biker stage, with all these like bikers in it. It's like, okay, I get it. I get it. You guys get it. I get it. There's
They know
a
what they're
there's a
doing.
there's a theme going on here and I dig it.
So would that make Mark of the Wolves or anything post Mark of the Wolves 90s?
I
no,
don't know.
Mark of the Wolves is definitely in the 2000s
Okay.
because Art of Fighting is late 70s, early 80s, and
Yeah.
Fatal Fury 1 is 92.
Oh
And I
God, I
think
love it.
Real About Special or Real About 1 is supposed to be 95, 96. And then Mark of the Wolves takes place it's 8 to 10 years later.
Okay. Okay. So it's
So
New
the
Millennium.
this game,
The Limp Bizkit era.
yeah. This game takes place probably 05 to 08 maybe is my guess.
Oh man, that's a good couple of years.
Right before the iPhone dropped. So no one
Daigo hasn't parried
yeah.
Daigo hasn't parried Justin yet, so we're still mystified by a
Mhm.
lot of things.
So it'll be cool. Seeing how what characters they put in. I'm looking forward to seeing the backgrounds, honestly. I know it sounds weird, but uh I want to see how they revive old Fatal Fury and Art of Fighting stages. Um,
Dude, yeah.
Judging from the footage that they have shown so far, like I'm loving the aesthetic, but also just the level of detail in like the bar stage, right?
mhm.
The nightclub stage, where there's just like there's stuff happening on the ground level, there's stuff happening all the way up to the damn ceiling. You know?
There's converging like streets that coming in at different angles that I just thought was like they don't really do this in games. I was like,
No.
there's like you could go deep into the background of like what's going on. There's just so many different angles and stuff happening where it's like if you look at a lot of 2D games, it's pretty flat, because
Mm,
it's like, two characters fighting each other in a 2D plane. And they don't really need to go too crazy with perspective. But that stage, even like on the sides, are coming in at a very unique angle that I'm used to in fighting games. And I was like, wow, this, I don't know when's the last time I saw something like this, but it felt very new and them trying to up the ante as far as stages goes. Cause like, I mean, if we look at the history of SNK, they have a very rich history of having some of the best backgrounds
yeah,
ever in all of fighting games.
hands down, man.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm excited to see what else they have to offer just on that avenue. So, but if I can get into the footage now, then I think that I might have mentioned this to you guys before, but initially watching that footage, it didn't really like it looked cool. Like I liked what I saw, But I'm also just like, man, like there's probably a lot of stuff happening in these videos that I'm not quite getting. And then we started playing Mark of the Wolves Hard Body, and now I go back to these videos and I'm like, oh yeah, that makes total sense now, you know? And I'm like, wow, I definitely would have never got this without ever having played the old game. And then I thought, like, dang, there's a lot of carryover going on here, and it looks pretty 1-to-1.
You know what's funny about seeing that video too? I saw it and I'm like, man, how long is it gonna take for me to be able to execute all those things? You
Right?
know,
Yeah, dude.
like comfortably. Like they showed a situation where there was like two Justifins in the middle of the air, or I don't know, something like that. Where
Yeah.
there was a trade-off of Justifins in the air. I'm like, how am I gonna get a feel for that and get a timing for that? And that's why the game has always felt so overwhelming to me because I'll see like I've only had the experience of really playing like Giby and like maybe somebody else a few times, but I'm like I see them just defend and guard cancel stuff and I'm like wow, like I don't even know how you even get a sense of that, but here we are. Now I do have a sense of it and I'm like oh okay, actually I could see that happening a lot actually, and
It's kind of
having an
flowing together, right?
yeah having an actual like more informed opinion and under frame of reference to what I'm looking at to be now I can get excited for the trailer for different reasons or for
Yeah.
the gameplay that we saw for different reasons. Other than it looks really good, right?
Yeah, no, that's the main thing, the main takeaway I have from the whole experience so far is that like, wow, I'm actually going to be watching these videos from now on with a trained eye and getting that much more excited for understanding, like not just because I understand it, but
Mm.
because I can probably convey that to other people now, and I don't feel so much like this is going to be, a brand new undertaking when the game drops. I'm like, I feel like I'll be not. I don't want to be necessarily ahead of other people, but I want
Mm.
to be in step with the people who are already just going to dive in and feel pretty comfortable with the game.
Mm.
Yeah.
So,
Watching it from my perspective was very frustrating because my brain's like they added everything and more.
there's a lot, yeah.
What got me was so there's a lot of things that Nocturnal and I have both said over the past like 20 plus years now of like, hey, if we were to like quote unquote balance Mark of the Wolves better or make a new Mark of the Wolves game, this is what we would do. And a lot of what we have said will be a thing is a thing in this game. And this is stuff we've been consistent about since like 2005, 4 or 5 ish, right? Um, and I'm like, oh, cool, they did it. But then they added like, oh, hey, you can, what is it? Rev XL into another Rev XL, so it's EX into another EX, right? It's kind of like a drive cancel in a sense.
I'm in, dude. I'm in. I'm in. Yes.
I love it, but at the same time, it's like, man, these combos do so much damage. I'm so into this. It's great, but at the same time, like, ooh, I could see people being like, oh man, I just like I don't know, I missed a hyper just defend,
Oh,
and that's it. I just got
Bad damage.
destroyed. It's like, yeah, eat that 70%. That's your own fault, man. And hyper just defend being sorry, it's hyper defense is what it's called.
The hyper defense.
Hyper defense being they said it's a 2 frame window. Um, I I think 2 frame window is very generous. It is the same as a red parry, right? But uh, I'm calling it right now. You're gonna see it so much. It's gonna get to the point where people are gonna know the exact strings you're doing, and that's it. You're gonna get hyper defense into most likely a guard cancel, big combo, or whatever, or someone's gonna take their. It looks like I think if you block and you go into hyper defense, it sets you into a just defend mode. So you can hyper defend and then go into just defend from a standard block, meaning you get your health back, you get meter back. I think if I remember right, it gives you rev back. I wrote a whole doc on things I saw, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember what I wrote. But hey, here's the tweet. Go check that out. I should actually look into that.
Yeah, we should probably go over that.
But there's a lot in the game that I'm so excited to see, and I do want to see. I want to see how all the characters are gonna play out because looking at it right now, all these characters are strong.
Yeah.
Every single one of them seem strong. Not for any like, oh no, like I think they're no, they like Rock looks beefy, Terry looks beefy, Hotaru looks beefy, Preacher looks good. Tizok might be the quote unquote weakest of the bunch, but he's still really good. Like I want to see what the other characters are gonna look like because I know everyone's like, oh, I hope they they break Kevin's arms or his legs or something.
Ah.
I think he's. I'm pretty sure they're purposely gonna make him not as good. They're probably gonna make him weaker initially, but given the system mechanics, they'll probably
Yeah,
make him
that's what I was
stronger.
gonna say. Like I think the system is going to benefit so many characters that in Mark of the Wolves might not have been considered that strong. But when you can just do 70% off a touch, man, if you get the resources, like it kind of doesn't matter in that regard. It's about how you get the touch after that, right?
Mhm.
But I don't see them hurting him that badly that he can't get those consistent openings, right? But I'm
Are
excited to see how they transfer that school of play to City of the Wolves because so far it seems like they're leaning into the strength of all the characters from what we've seen. You know,
are they going to have a fully animated helicopter in the back of one of these stages?
yo,
Well, we'll see. I mean, they got a static motorcycle in the background of these stages so far, right?
Uh-huh.
So we'll see. I mean, they better give me that attack chopper. But what was it, Metal
I
Gear? A Kasaka, right? That's what it's called.
I got a question, especially since Gibby's here and he could have a more thorough opinion on this. But so after me and Chris have been playing more Mark of the Wolves, I wonder, what do you think the barrier of entry for this game is going to be? Because I feel like the essential things in the game are more difficult to execute than would say somebody getting brand new into like KOF 15 specifically, that version. Like understanding like just defends and guard cancels
Mm.
and how they're super essential to the game. It's not like it's like an instant availability. You just have to understand how to play the game before you can actually take advantage of
Mm.
that. Like, do you think that that's going to be a barrier that people are willing to go through? Like something similar is like, Tekken 8 came out and people stuck with that game for a while, even though that game's can be pretty difficult and a lot of like very time consuming to study, right?
Yeah.
Um, like what do you think is going to happen with that for release when the game is looking very similar to the current version of Garo Mark of the Wolves?
I think barrier of entry is gonna be pretty. I'll say average, not a high barrier of entry. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
it'll be super low, but I think it'll be lower than general. There's
Mm-hmm.
the game is mechanic heavy, which some people are thinking is going to be a bad thing. I think it's going to be a good thing. It gives you more options, more freedom to do things. I do feel so. You guys remember when Samurai Shodown came out? Everyone's like, "Oh, it's so simple. It's the most basic of basic fighting games, right?"
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the polar opposite, where this seems complex, like looking at it from the outside in,
Mm-hmm.
and it does have more mechanics than King of Fighters.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably the most mechanic heavy SNK game I can think of right now, and I'm not thinking, but off the top of my head, this is the most mechanics I've seen in an SNK game, which is pretty ridiculous. Um, but it's almost all of them are standard mechanics, right?
yeah.
And when if you're using the official names of what is it like Rev, I have here special selective potential gear, Rev guard, uh, overheat, Rev arts, so on and so forth. If you just say EX move, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's some people are calling it faultless defense for the Rev guard.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Some people are calling it push block. They're all normal mechanics in other fighting games, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing new. It's just new to this series, this game. Um, I think people just trying to get into this are going to be able to get into this fairly easily, but they will be a step behind if they aren't playing Mark of the Wolves. I do think playing like getting into Mark of the Wolves, you don't even have to like be a top like learn how to play the game at a high level. Just get into it, understand the mechanics, just defending, feints, breaks, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That'll help out a lot, along with maybe picking up some Real Bout 2. Real Bout 2 has a lot of similar mechanics. Real Bout 2 has feints. Real Bout 2 has guard cancels. Um, and
I
it
didn't know that. Real Bout 2 has guard cancels?
I think they call it break shot, right?
Dude,
yeah,
I didn't know that.
they're called break shots, and
Oh,
You need meter to do it. You need essentially half your meter to do it. You have to have H power, and you do it. And some characters can break shot into supers, which is
shoot, I want to
cool.
play this game.
Benimaru, bro.
I thought Real Bot always looked sick. I just never had a chance to
Some
play it.
riding stuff right there, man.
Yeah,
Right.
real bot is tight. Like more
Oh,
people should be playing the game. I feel.
I would
um,
love to play some real bout too.
let's get
Honestly,
that release, SNK. Let's get that
bro, get that. Oh, get all
Code
the old
Mystics.
games out there. The lobbies, the Code Mystics
Yeah.
rollback, dude. All of it. Give it to everything.
As a matter of fact, put it in Garou too. I mean, regular Mark of the Wolves Garou.
Regular Market of Wolves.
I don't know
man.
what's
Give us
happening.
those lobbies,
Steam
baby.
edition of and the PlayStation got a lobby on Market of Wolves. That would be so good right now.
So, yeah, I would say play those games. I would say so. The game's easily accessible. It's sorry. It's on PS4. It's on Steam. Very cheap. Usually like $10. Goes on sale generally for like nothing. Let me see. But you guys said
Yeah.
you started playing the game, right? Oh, it goes on. Jeez, it goes on sale for $1 sometimes.
What, Real Bout 2?
No, Mark of the Wolves.
Oh, snap.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, go pick it up on right now, $10 or when it goes on sale. But yeah, you guys have been playing on the Steam version with each other.
Streaming it, by the way. So if
yeah.
you folks want to catch us later tonight, you can do that and see if we've improved or not since the last stream.
We're excuse me, trying to contain those. We're doing streams with each other, and we're trying to bring in people slowly. Trying to play more people in the community, not necessarily everyone, right? We're just trying to get people who are learning the game or who know how to play the game, playing with mainly Abe and Chris, because I think watching the two of you, the journey you guys are going through with learning the game and improving, is much more better than like watching me or Knock play you guys and just like, oh yeah, let's just do this. Like me and Knock, like, let's just have fun. Let's do this dumb combo. Let's do this dumb whatever, right? It's much more entertaining watching people learn, and you see the progress. Like with you guys, Knock and I have watched the progress live. Like, oh, we can see the improvement you guys made. You made these adjustments here. Oh, you did this, and it's not like you guys aren't necessarily doing it in the middle of sets. You do it, and then you take a break, you reflect, you come back, and then, oh, look at that, improvement, and so on and so forth. Every break you get, there's improvement, which has been nice. But yeah, I do think everyone should play this game, Mark of the Wolves, and I do
Agreed.
think everyone should also try to get into Real Bout 2, if they can. I have Real Bout 2, but I have it on an arcade machine over there. Yeah, I mean, hey, if you guys want to play Real Bout 2, you can come over to my house, and but you need quarters. You got to put the quarters in the
You're
machine.
right over, man.
And
It's
remember,
not free though.
I want to get the old quarter with the string attached to it trick.
Oh yeah, just remember the economy sucks, so it's $1 a game.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
that
the
dollar
100
fund,
yen?
baby.
But yeah, it's been very nice seeing people look at this game and appreciate it now, especially with how long I've been like running tournaments for, playing this, promoting it, all that fun stuff. I'd like to see more. Like I just want more people playing the game. The game has always had a very positive reputation. And Abe, this is the conversation we were having earlier, and I know what your question was going to be. The game has always had a positive reputation. Everyone loves it. It is King of Fighters 13 before King of Fighters 13. Everyone says like, "Oh man, this is like one of my favorite fighting games. It's like so beautiful, it's gorgeous, it's fun." I'm like, "Oh, who do you play?" "Oh, I don't play it." What? And it was weird. And then that's why when it happened with KOF 13, I wasn't like bothered by it. I'm like, yeah, it's just like what people did with Mark of the Wolves. Yeah, and I get it. I understood it. I'm not gonna necessarily say I like it, but I don't hate it as well. I understand it. It's just like if I like a game, I'm gonna try to play it.
I'm glad to check myself off of that list as not just being an audience member that enjoys watching it, because I did like watching Mark of the Wolves, like as a casual observer. I think it was super fun to watch. I've always thought so. Even when you're kind of explain some of the things a little bit to me, and been playing fighting games for so long, you can kind of get the gist by watching. But playing it is just, you have to like put time. You can't, basically, to me, what KOF, sorry again, is what's it a Freudian slip. What Mark of the Wolves is to me is you can't cheat the game. Like in order to be like decent, like you have to actually put time in. You don't like when I think about KOF 15 and why I think it's so awesome is because I think the barrier of entry is pretty low and it's just a fun system to play in. Like very straightforward, right? And there's a lot of characters, a lot of buttons, a lot of things you can do that mitigate a lot of the game that maybe legacy players could really take advantage of you. Or if you play a certain character, you have to know all these things. But like there's no thing like this as far as I know, in Mark of the Wolves, it's like, well, I get Farsi that just beats everything. It's just like such a chunky button, something that's like, oh, I just get to cancel super late, and it just nets me a lot of damage, and it pretty much compresses the gameplay for me to a manageable point,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, I don't think that it really exists in Mark of the Wolves as far as where I'm at right now with where I'm playing it, but um that's what I really think like this game is not something you could just cheat your way into. Um, Especially trying to play veteran players, even people that have been maybe they're not the best, but they've been playing for a while. Like you're gonna get crushed. like, so what I'm saying is take those L's head on, folks. Like it's a fun
Yeah, dude.
game. It's a fun game. There's more people playing it. We're gonna be streaming it a lot more on the channel, but yeah, the comparison to 13 and this, it's funny because I've also asked you kind of like, hey man, like I kind of picked up on it too. Like, hey man, do a lot of people not really play this, or they conveniently claim um playing Garou when it like suddenly becomes popular every now and then? Like, oh yeah, I played Garou. I know what's up.
I mess
I'm good
around
at
with that.
this.
Yeah. Here's a photo of
Yeah,
me at a gathering with Garo on the screen. I
yeah,
actually
yeah.
have that. um, I think you're absolutely right. One of the ways that I approached Mark of the Wolves that I think helped me a lot, and we talk about this all the time about how I used to go into these new games and want to win, and I get an ego for that. And if I don't win, then
Mm,
my ego's hurt, and I'm like, damn it, now I gotta freaking get better so I can beat all my friends and everyone I run across. And I don't really feel like I'm learning the game. I'm just like getting solid enough to perform well in small bursts. But with Tekken 8, with Mark of the Wolves, I'm more challenging myself to do things that I want to do in the game.
mm,
Like if I'm gonna get upset about anything, it's because I'm messing up my own execution, and I'm like, all right, my goal isn't to win this match, but my goal is to consistently do this one thing, and then the next session will be to do this other thing, and then maybe in a month or so, I'll try putting it all together and have a an actual competitive match with maybe I'll enter a tournament or something, right?
I think what feels really old school about learning Mark of the Wolves right now is that like there is a barrier of execution there that I don't think is there in the newer games and like more recent releases of fighting games. Period. Right, where it's like, okay, in order for me to do X, Y, and Z that requires me to like play at a like just above novice level, like I actually have to learn how to execute this guard cancel or JD or whatever.
Right.
Where it's like yeah, it felt like that in a lot of the older games, like stricter timing, whether it's stricter timing, something that requires you to go into training mode and learn this thing. And like Tekken, I guess could be like, I don't know, Korean backdashing or something like that. Or like wave dashing. I don't know. Something along those lines where it's not super integral to you being good at the game. Where I feel like it is integral to you being, like you said, it's a system heavy game, right? Like it's integral to you being good at the game that you can execute these things. Um, but I like that. And I like that it's actually coming back for the second one, which is a breath of fresh air, I suppose.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, we're not taking things away. As a matter of fact, like Gibby, you said, I
Making
was
it
like,
more palpable.
yeah, we're giving it to you back and then some. And some stuff you've seen in other games before. So it's like if there's a criticism that you could have on the new Garo or new Fatal Fury game, City of the Wolves, it definitely can't be that it's like I'm not getting a complex system here, or I'm not getting options here in my gameplay. It's like they're giving you a lot of options.
Yep.
This is definitely the options game right
So
now.
I'm doing that interview for that Evo thing that they dropped a
Mm,
couple days ago, right? And they're like, "What do you want to see from from City of the Wolves?" And I'm like, "I just want to see like a lot of like a game with a lot of meat for us to sink our teeth into. And I swear I must have heard Oda in the background going, "All right, you got it, bro."
It's like, ha, bet, gotcha. It's like, whoa, Oda-san, American slang? And he just
You know, where
smiles.
he's like,
I
I'm
bet.
OD, bro.
He's like, no cap, no cap, bro, no cap.
So the game is going to be playable to the public at Evo Japan. Now,
Evo Japan.
I saw someone ask this question in chat. Are any of us going to Evo Japan? No.
I'd
I know
like
it's
to.
Evo Japan.
It'd be cool.
I wish we were. Generally, we go to work it, but unfortunately, that's no longer the case. I'm hoping that something changes because it's still 2 weeks away. There's just slight chance Pockets or I can maybe make it, but I doubt it.
I'm holding out hope, but it's getting kind of close.
Yeah, and to make it worse, in terms of like events, Evo Japan is that weekend. Texas Showdown is that weekend. Level Up Expo is that weekend. So Vegas, Houston, and Tokyo. Somewhere in Tokyo. I forgot where Evo Japan is. But it's like those are 3 sizable events, and
Yeah.
It's unfortunate they all like land on the same weekend. But did I tell you guys that there's gonna be Mark of the Wolves tournaments at some of these places?
Both, like, really?
Not Level Up Expo. Maybe Level Up Expo. Maybe someone will hold it there. But
Somebody probably runs there.
there's gonna be a Mark of the Wolves tournament at Texas Showdown.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Look at that. I love this advertisement. If you know anything about Houston, you know this is a sick ass advertisement. This is really good. It's being held. It's going to be a side event held by a player named Scrubs. He's a Scrubby Kevin player apparently, and he wins tournaments. I don't know. It's amazing. He reminds me of myself. It's great. I love it. But this advert's great. If you are gonna be at Texas Showdown, feel free to sign up for this. I don't know where it's going to be streamed just yet, but I'm hoping we get that information soon. Sign up, link is there, start.gg/TXS24. I don't know how many people are entered just yet, but I'm hoping that this is going to be a good tournament. And Pockets, you're not going to Texas Showdown this year, right?
So for the first time in 2 years, I'm not going to Texas Showdown. Yeah. Once again, like
Double booked,
double, triple, quadruple booked. I'm actually not doing anything of the things we mentioned. I'm not going to Evo Japan. I'm not going to Texas Showdown. I'm not going to Level Up Expo. I'm doing something else completely.
Whoa. So it's funny for me especially because like when we have packed weekends like this, I'm working one or more of the events. I'm not working anything. Well, I mean, to my knowledge, I'm not working anything yet. But I'm not working anything. So I'll be at home. I'll be a spectator watching. I'll probably go donate to the pot for Texas Showdown. I guarantee you no one has donated more money to Mark of the Wolves tournaments than me. I'm an idiot. And I'm like, hey, I want people to win. And I think Scrubs has gotten a good chunk of my money too, which is not a bad thing. You know, I'm happy. I just want people to play this game. What else we got? Oh yes, that same weekend is Evo Japan, right? And there's going to be a 25th anniversary tournament for it held by Colossus. I think it's going to be held Sunday at Evo Japan, and there's already like 80 or 90 entrants. It is a beefy tournament. Last year's Mark of the Wolves tournament was amazing. I wish that I was able to attend and play it. I mean, had I attended, I would not have been able to play, unfortunately. But this year should be good. It's also going to be streamed on Colossus's channel, which is twitch.tv/21Colossus.
Are we trying to restream this?
I mean, we can. Are you guys down? I'll talk to him.
What's the 28th?
I'll see what's up.
That's going to be a Saturday night for us.
That's doable.
Because it's Sunday. Okay, yeah.
It's possible.
Time zones, bro. I'm getting mixed.
But yeah, we can do this. I'll talk to him and see what's. I mean, we probably won't get a clean feed, which is fine, but we'll be commentating over commentators. It's okay. But Colossus is good people. For those of you who don't know, Colossus and I have been working together on the Wolf's Den series. I have a match in the queue that I was supposed to have had stream in the past 2 weeks. I unfortunately have been sick since SWC, and I have not done it. I'm gonna do it this coming Friday, I hope. But Colossus has been doing great things with the community out there. Colossus, Otto, and a few others. But Colossus is doing this, and he was hoping that a lot of international players can show up. I looked at the bracket. I think I know I saw international players. The two that I remember were Taj Garou and Frianel. I don't know who else is going to be going there.
Taj?
Yeah, Taj, the homie Taj from Australia.
Wow. He was at SWC, bro.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I was like, what?
We got a picture. You know what I should have done? I should have queued up a thing with all the pictures that people took of all of us.
Oh yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, Pockets is like the big lively personality of the three of us. He gets pictures here and there. Abe and I don't do that as much. Me personally, I'm just not a fan of taking pictures. But I took a bunch of pictures of this event, and I don't know where they are. I don't know who posted them, other than Taj's picture. We have pictures with Oda-san. Have pictures with the new English voice actor for Terry. I have a few other pictures. I just don't know. I don't know who posted them, or if they ever got posted. Well, I'll find them. And Abe, if you're in any of them, got you too.
Sick.
And then what's the other one? Oh, it is Combo Breaker 2024. This is the second time Mark of the Wolves is going to be an official game at Combo Breaker. The first time Mark of the Wolves was an official tournament at Combo Breaker, I got pressured heavily into going, and I didn't go, but Keats and I had just met Rick, I think a few months prior to this event, and they were trying to pressure me into going to this event. Oh yeah, come on, come and play, come win. You think you can win? I'm like, maybe, I don't know.
Guaranteed.
And then afterwards, I forgot who won it, but they're like, oh hey, how about we do an exhibition one year with you and the winner? I was like, sure, I'm down. And that never happened. I can't remember who won it, but I was like, yeah, I'm down. What's on the line? They're like, oh, Pride. I'm like, Pride? Wow, man.
The respect of the community.
I don't have much pride anymore these days. But be sure to sign up for this. It's one thing to do like side tournaments. This is an official game in the lineup. I'm hoping most of the market, like the one issue I've been very vocal about this for over the past decade with the online Mark of the Wolves community, and it's that they just sit home and play. They don't go to events, and in some cases I understand it's expensive, but sometimes these events are in your own backyard. Sometimes they're not that expensive to go to, so on and so forth. They just refuse to go. I want to see people show up to this and play. I don't know if I'm going to have time to enter because I'm usually working these things, but I'm going to try to do it. Support your locals, support your majors, support everything. Especially if it is a game that you love and a game that you want to see do well. Do it.
I'm actually not going to this either.
You're not going to this either? Oh, man.
I'm not,
That's
man.
wild.
I have a good excuse this time, though, because
Oh,
I'm actually running the psychology department graduation at my school, so it's on the same
Right.
weekend.
nice.
A community event. All right, man.
Yeah, running the community event, man.
I got you. Okay. Well, I think that's cool. I'm hoping that we can make this event big. This all three of these events big, and hopefully have more Mark of the Wolves events leading up to the release of City of the Wolves, which is what was it? Early 2025, which generally means just early means first half 2025, right? So, the joke I've been saying, a year from today is when the game's coming out, and I say that every time. So that's when we're getting the game, a year from today, whatever day today is.
June's
and-
early.
Yeah, it is. But we'll see. I hope we do get it. And I mean, you guys know I don't play competitively anymore, but I will play. I'll like do casual streams with people. I'm gonna run events for it, run tournaments. And hey, we're gonna do. I know it's early, but we're gonna do that here, just like we did for KOFXV, Samurai Showdown, 14, 13, Mark of the Wolves, Breaker's Revenge, a bunch of other SNK titles, and some non-SNK titles that happen to be featured on the Neo Geo Entertainment System. Abe,
Yeah.
wanted to ask you something.
Oh, what's up?
Do you have any fun hot takes that you wanted to get into?
Oh man. Uh yeah. You know what? I have pretty mild takes, which is why I asked the community. So I made a post that was asking the community to give me like your KOF hot take, right? And honestly, the only reason I even asked that is because I saw that photo of the statue of
Yeah, and
Guinness.
it's yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, this is funny. He was making a really funny face. And I was like, you know what? This seems like a perfect face to use for like, hey, what's your KOF hot take? Because I'm about to say something really stupid.
About to drop a Cleveland steamer.
Yeah. No, actually, man, made that post and I was very enlightened by the community as to what they had to say. I would say top two things that were brought up was like bring back KOF 11 in some ways, or bring back tag, something KOF 11 related, or what is it? KOF
Some impact.
yes, KOF Maximum Impact were like the top two of things that were brought up, right? And then various things would be like insert game, complain about how nobody plays it or whatever, that this, or insert X game that's overrated. you know, the yada yada overrated. Da, da, da. That would be like three or four up there. But it was pretty cool, man. And a lot, it got off a lot of attention and splintered off a bunch of different discussions. But yeah, I think, what was it? Oh, what was the one that was it Red Blade made? Um, God, what was it called? Oh, it was like people sticking with the game. Was that what they said? Well, not I got it. I kind of remember. It
Red
shouldn't be too hard
Blade.
to find.
I know I remember it. Oh, it's basically everything the current community claims they want is in King of Fighters 15. They
Ah,
want
yes.
a fighting game that doesn't have modern easy mechanics, all that kind of stuff. It is KOF 15. And this is
Oh, that
stuff
was that was the steamer one. Yeah.
yeah, the it is stuff a lot of the people in the King of Fighters we discussed this. It's
Hmm.
stuff a lot of people in the King of Fighters community had mentioned when leading up to KOF 15 and when KOF 15 was like hot in the first few months.
Hmm.
But unfortunately, the KOF community did it in that kind of aggressive, my game is better than your game kind of way.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
people got dunked on very hard. Um, but Red Blade said it, and I understand people disagreeing. I understand people agreeing, right? But it is something like a lot of people keep saying. Oh, I don't like new games with these baby mechanics, and give me back my old games. KOF 15 is just KOF. No, nothing's really changed. Like it
I, I
was.
think I think the discussion came back up because of what's going on with Tekken 8 as well. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
another parallel, right? Because Tekken 8 introduced a new system that people deem kind of scrubby. Sorry.
I get you. Because we had the same discussion happen when Strive came out. Remember?
Hmm.
Strive came out, and it's like, oh, Guilty Gear's not technical anymore. Ugh.
Yeah.
I want my old gear back. It's like, but Rev 2 is still an amazing game. It's got a community. It's got everything.
Hmm.
It's one of those things, right? Where I feel if you want those to play those old games, play them. Um, but people claim they want more difficult fighters, and then they complain that it's too hard for them to play or get good at. Right? So
Hmm.
there's no real balance. It's a lose lose situation for the devs. Um, I think me personally, I am of that opinion. Where like, yeah, I like the old games. These new games, they're not for me. That doesn't make them bad. But these new games bring in a whole new group of players. They bring in people who would never touch a fighting game before. And hey, maybe some of them want something a bit more difficult. And are the older games actually more difficult?
It's funny because this is also another post that came out of this, is that David actually made a post and said KOF 15 was one of my favorite games this decade and my most played game of 2022. And in my opinion, it's bizarre to see it labeled as a particularly difficult or non-mechanic heavy anti-modern. It's as full as easiness and difficulty and zaniness and dumbery and geniusry and strong mechanics as anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then he added, I know he had a very fun and deep game. Also, the hardest thing about it is the meta game of catching up with 30 years of institutional legacy knowledge that many players have. But in game, it's not like particularly hard or honest or lacking either constricting or freeing mechanics. Which is yeah, I would agree. So I was in this argument, I was always thinking that this is like a perfect storm of a game, right? KOF 15. I feel like it's very rewarding for legacy players, but also very rewarding for a new player to jump in as a starting point. Um, but yeah, I mean that was a pretty big discussion about it. I thought it was interesting what people had to say about it because that also splintered off its own big arguments, and people feel like really strongly about it. Oh,
Bro, he was getting subtweeted, dog. That thread got subtweeted.
which is it's like because it's not necessarily just pertaining to our community.
No,
It
no, no, straight up.
it's like has a lot to do with like the greater FGC community in general, right? Because
Yeah.
these are
These are very
narrative
common topics.
or discussions. There you go. Like discussions that have happened a lot, especially over the past year, right?
Mhm.
As some games, like, dude, it's like how people felt like when Street Fighter came out, right? And so to kind of like thread the needle here, it's like so Street Fighter comes out, it's it's a great game. Everybody loves it. Like at least the discussion about the game is like, wow, what a great first entry to a brand new game, right?
Yeah.
Like 1.0 is pretty great. And then some people fall off and they have their opinions about it or whatever, and then some of it's almost, at least on Twitter, would seem almost like 50-50. Like people either are starting to hate this game or they love it. You guys need to grow up, yada yada yada. This discussion continues, right? It's the same things happening right now, or it has been with Tekken 8, and it's just you could
Oh
probably even go
boy.
further back with
Yeah.
Strive as well, right? Gibby mentioned Strive. So this is a discussion that's been happening a lot, and it can be very like odd and bizarre considering when that discussion, like all these things that people are complaining about, it would seem like 15 kind of checks off all the boxes of like it just rewards all these things that you guys were talking about, and that community kind of parts of the community starts to feel a certain way. It was like, well, how come guys don't play with us, you know like this game's meant for you, but it's like, so what? They don't play. Who cares? In my opinion, like, who
They don't
cares?
have the history, you know?
It's okay. Like if they don't come, it's fine. But it's like I think more people have actually got people to play KOF 15 just by playing it and streaming the game than posts like that. Like turn
Yeah.
people off. Like realistically, how many people does it really turn off from trying 15 if they have it already? It's usually the case if people didn't jump on when it first came out, that's the issue, is that they feel the game has left them behind.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the main reason people don't consider jumping on so late.
And that's why I say people should start working on approaching these games as personal projects. I know the competitive side of things is it's an MF, man. Like you got to be ready to swim in brackets or you're going to drown in pools, right?
I mean,
Um
well, the thing is like that is a very real thing of like
yeah,
not being in there when the game comes out because it has the most amount of players playing it. You're growing at a similar rate, and then if you decide to get into the game later, there's less matchups to learn because the meta's been decided. So people just like to play whatever the meta of the game is. So yeah, that is an actual obstacle. But outside of that, I don't really think all these other things that people complain about is like an actual issue. It's just people just either for that main reason don't want to play, or they just don't really aren't that into it.
well, they want to be where the party's at, you know? Like when they see their favorite fighting game streamer playing a game, they're like, "Oh, the party's over here right now. We're just going to be playing that." And not a lot of people was on 15 like that. I mean, we had some carryover initially. We had a lot of big names jumping on 15 and competing online and in person. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that I think that helped a ton with retention. But
Mm-hmm.
a lot of those guys didn't even stick with it and they weren't even doing badly. You know, they were winning.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are winning. It's unfortunate. One of the biggest complaints is the community with a lot of the newer players, bigger names. A lot of them feel the community is a bit too aggressive with them. Oh, you're this big name. How dare you think you can come into our community and do this? Which is a very old mentality
Oh,
thing.
I
Yeah.
see.
I did have a talk with a lot of them about it, and this has been a big thing, especially since KO 13. It is the community that has turned off a lot of like top players from like Street Fighter, Tekken, whatever, from joining the game. Um, and they're like, yeah, why waste my time if they're just gonna treat me like garbage? And
Mm.
I understand that, and I've had a lot. back when, like back in the old SCR days, I would tell people, hey, stop that, don't do that. But smaller communities tend to be very gatekeepy, very much. Oh, my game is better than yours. Our top players are better than your top players, so on and so forth. It's what led to that fun moment with Xiaohai and Punk at Capcom Finals. Like, this ain't KOF. Well, and then
So he started that. I'm glad you pointed that out. He started that. Punk started that.
so Punk is one of the people that got treated like garbage for trying to get into King of Fighters.
And he was winning.
He was doing well, and what sucked for him was, uh, some people were like, "Oh, he's in Florida. His connection sucks. He shouldn't be allowed to enter tournaments." I'm like,
Bro.
what?
That's wild.
What?
Because I've played some
Poor-
really bad
The
connections.
poor guy had to play from Florida. He had to play people in like Mexico City. He had to play people in like Seattle, all this kind of stuff, right? And he's like, I'm trying to play people, and the connections aren't good, and it's my fault. Why? And it's because he's not a typical KOF player. People
They
don't know
weren't
him for
willing
KOF.
to eat it for him. Yeah, they were like, bro, like.
And they're like,
you
"Oh
got
no, it's it was him versus Violent Kane one of the times." And I remember I was watching that from both their perspectives, and I was watching Violent Kane's stream, and every connection he had was bad. Punk's only bad connection was against Violent Kane, and
You
they're
know where
like,
he
"Oh, it's
messed
him."
up there, though? You know where he messed up, though? Is he did single out an entire community in
Uh-huh.
a tweet.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I was like, well, okay. It's like, yeah, because, I mean, let's paint the full picture here. It's like, yeah, people come into the game and then they don't like how the community treats them, but then it's like they double down. It's like, these guys right here all can eat doo-doo. They're like, okay, well, this is pretty beloved community, so probably not a good move.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Punk has
Yeah.
matured quite a bit since then. However, I still think people dogpiling is always a bad thing, especially on new people trying to, like, he had like what 2,000 people watching him, and the community's
Yeah.
like, no, you don't deserve to play our game, like that kind of stuff. It's unfortunate.
That was crazy talk.
And I'm excited to see. I mean, it sounds weird saying excited. I genuinely am excited to see how this turns out with City of the Wolves, because let me tell you, none of you guys have been playing this. You know how I know?
That's
Because I've been playing this for 25 years, and I've been pushing this 25 years. I know who you are. I know if you've actually been a part of this community. Don't lie. Gonna be like, oh, I've been playing Mark of the Wolves for so long now. Lying ass.
There's not gonna be a lot of surprise first timers doing super well.
Yeah.
Like what? How did he never touch Mark of the Wolves and suddenly just so beastie like day one, week one?
I don't
I'm
remember
excited
him.
to see. So I'm excited to see these crossover players that do well in multiple other games step into the City of the Wolves arena, or maybe they'll start playing Mark of the Wolves, right? Maybe they'll be like, "Hey, game's almost coming out, time to like get my feet wet," and I want to see if they do some damage in the brackets.
Are you talking about yourself?
No, not me. I'm an SNK
Oh.
player.
He's talking about Knuckle
I am
Dude.
SNK community. I like it or not, I'm here to stay. But I'm talking about the people that our lovely community members may see as other, outsider. You play Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, whatever, right? They come into City of the Wolves, and yeah, maybe it ain't so smooth. They don't break, cancel. They don't, they don't faint. They don't do all sorts of things, right? But they win.
Mm-hmm.
And people are going to be like, how the hell is this guy winning? He's not even using 20% of the mechanics.
I've told this story a lot. The first time I played Justin Wong at Mark of the Wolves, he beat my ass. And you know how he beat my ass? Just by blocking, just by just defending.
You're gonna say he played cross-handed.
He had no combos, right? And there was no like offense, but I couldn't do the same mix up on him twice. Couldn't do the same. It's like, oh hey, let me do this. It got him once. He's like, okay, and then I tried it again. Didn't work. I'm like, huh. And I'm like, all right, let me hold off on that. Let me try something different. And then I kept trying to like throw in all the different mix-ups, and his reactions were extremely good. He was just defending things no one had ever just defended before. He was getting through things like not no one just defended, but like dealing with mix-ups that no one was able to deal with at the time. I was like, and he beat my
Yeah,
I'm like,
baby.
"Damn." And I'm like, all right, well, that sucked. Damn it. And then right afterwards, Knock beat me. So I was like, oh, I can't get the rematch. I got to play him again a year later, but the concept that like the idea people have like, oh, you're not a
And
such
that's
such
why you
player.
picked up Kevin. No, I'm just kidding.
And the idea that people have always of like, oh, you play Street Fighter, you cannot play this game, just because it even Hey, you remember this? It happened with me and Knock when we were getting into KO13, where you hang and a few of the other SoCal guys like, oh, they don't know how to play King of Fighters, they play Mark of the Wolves,
Oh.
and you're the only one going like, are you Duck and Reynolds are like, no, they're good at that game, they can be good at this game. No, they're different, they're different. It's not the same. I'm like, what? And I thought the whole situation was hilarious. It's very strange to me. And Pockets, you mentioned like, oh, you're SNK community. You got to remember, there's the SNK community, but there's also the KOF community.
There's also KOF.
The KOF community is a branch of the SNK community.
SNK community.
Look at how they treated Samurai Showdown.
That's why I wanted to bring that up, because I was all aboard Samurai Shodown, but there was a lot of people who were just like, nah, I'll wait for KOF.
They played it, and all they did was trash it and say, I'm only playing this until King of Fighters comes out. I don't want to play this game. It's nothing but trashing the game. And I expect the same thing to happen with City of the Wolves, but the benefit for City of the Wolves, it's going to bring a whole. It doesn't have a community. There's no Fatal Fury community that's like a huge, massive thing, right? There's a Mark of the Wolves community, there's a Real Bot community, all that stuff, right? But they only play their select games.
Are you telling me there's nobody that's going to be like this? Like, I don't think so, buddy. You need to take that over there.
So there will be. And a lot of them, some of them are going to be faking it, and some are going to be, I think, strongly the Mark of the Wolves community. And I don't think the Mark of the Wolves community is going to take too well to this game. I don't think they're going to like it very much because it's, they've been playing the game for so long that they expect a Mark of the Wolves 2 that's going to be the same as Mark of the Wolves, right? And this is kind of that, but it takes away a lot of the stuff that made Mark of the Wolves like an old fun game, right? Where like, oh, this is stupid, this is busted. That's what makes Mark of the Wolves fun for a lot of people. You remove a lot of that, they're not going to like the game so much. You remove a lot of that.
You think we're not going to get Kevin? Like the way he plays?
No. I think we're going to get. So what I think we're going to get. We're going to get Kevin, and he's going to have those mechanics, but they're not going to work the same. He's likely going to have the cancels, but will you be able to do things with the cancels? Probably not. Maybe you'll get one extra hit with the cancels. You're not going to be able to go buck wild with the cancels like you can in this. Look at what they do with the feints. Terry looks like he can. I didn't see Terry doing all the wild feint combos in any of these videos.
Yeah, I didn't see it either. One big thing I did see there was now that close heavy punch and forward heavy punch, you can now cancel off of that. You can't do that in Mark of the Wolves. I'm like, okay, so there's clearly like an attempt to change the way you approach that character in that situation. May not mean that feint cancels aren't as palpable anymore, but they clearly wanted to show us that, you know?
Yes, feints in this are very obviously not as powerful. They can be strong within the game's mechanics, but they're not going to be strong relative to Mark of the Wolves mechanics. Because look at what I do. Terry in the corner, three standing C's, 2 crouching C's in a block string.
I mean, Mark of the Wolves block stun is crazy, man. Like.
Oh, the guard
I get
break.
jailed by a stand A.
Dude, you stay almost guard broken. Like once you get close to getting guard broken, it's hard to get out. Hard.
Yeah.
It feels so hard to get like your guard meter or whatever the game is managing your guard to like reset. Cause bro, I'd forget that I was about to get guard broken, and then it was like, oh damn. Like I was playing Knock yesterday, and he did some like crazy super with like specials block string on me, and I was able to get away for like a decent amount of time in the match, and then he just hits me with one button and I'm like, I bust open. I'm like, whoa, dude, I didn't realize I was still that close.
Yeah, all he did was jab me, and I got stuck on the ground for like 2 seconds just blocking. Like that's what you get me with, right? Your Marco just hits me with that little pop, and I try to jump, and you're like, nah, you're still grounded, bro, and I just take damage.
Oh, that's called skill, buddy.
It's crazy good. And Terry got it too. Like Dom has it. You know, you do close D, and you feint cancel that. You got all day to walk up to him and do another close D.
Most of the cast has it, and they have it in some way, shape, or form. It's just harder to perform with some of the characters. City of the Wolves currently looks like it's not going to have it. And hey, guess what? in reality, it doesn't have it because oh no, you're doing this loop on me, hybrid defense, and
Yeah.
then
Yep.
what? Like it's this game looks like it's gonna so it looks like it's gonna promote offense. Like all these trailers that we're seeing, it looks very offense heavy, but it's gonna become a very defensive game. It's gonna be a defensive game that's I'm gonna just defend and I'm gonna guard cancel into massive damage.
I was gonna say, are we gonna be baiting guard cancels like we are now?
Well, we got to see if that's something you can do within the game system. As long as um, specials and EXs don't have invulnerability, it's gonna be so easy to bait guard cancels. And I don't think they have invulnerability from what I saw. Maybe supers will have it, but we'll see. Hey, SNK, if you're watching, let me play the game. Put it here in my hands, like right here. I want to play. I want to try it. I'm not gonna
I
be at
just
Evo
want to
Japan.
watch.
No, I want to play it. I don't,
You can play. I just want to watch.
look at me. I'm rubbing. I'm fiending this right now. I genuinely want to play it. Like I'm not gonna be competitive, but I want to play it to break down the mechanics even further. Because there's a lot of things that I can see, but it's like, is that? And in all honesty, the trailer or the clips that they showed, I I genuinely feel they're from different builds. Because in some cases, oh hey, guard cancel took a percentage of rev gauge, but here it didn't do it. Same exact scenario, but it didn't do it.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh, interesting. So we'll see. I do want to get my hands on it. I'm hoping that it's also at Combo Breaker. Um, I'm assuming we're gonna get something for it at the E3 replacement. What is that thing called? Jeff Keighley
Summer
Thon?
Game Fest?
Summer Game Fest. Yeah, maybe it might be at uh CEO. I don't see a world word. It's not at Evo USA. So I'm sure we're gonna get to play it there. It's just a matter of what build are we gonna have at Evo Japan? Like, is it gonna be the ones that Max, Kayana, and Justin played? Is it gonna be something different? Are we gonna have new characters in it? I want to know
I'm thinking about like so when Dragon Ball Fighters was getting ready to start gearing up, they had that one build at E3, and then like by I want to say Evo, they had an updated build, or was that the same build? It might have been the same build. So like they ran that for like 3 months because they had that tournament at Evo at the side tournament, and then they announced Trunks. Yeah, that's right.
yeah,
Okay.
because I was a part of that for some of the events. E3, Evo, and PAX West. That entire time frame was the same build, if I remember right.
Same build.
I think Trunks may have been added to one of them, but it was the same build. There was no big differences.
I think yeah, like that window of time, it might just be on the edge of like by Evo time. It would be nice to have another build, but I also think that by Evo time would be around the time that I think most companies would have a new build to show, especially considering the sheer size of Evo Vegas. Um, you probably want to come with the most you have to offer, you know, because I don't know what SNK's plans are for the future and other events post Evo US, but um, I don't think they want to cook that grenade too long because if they said early 2025, you want to keep this good momentum rolling before the summer ends, you know?
Yeah, you want to start like when are we gonna get or are we actually gonna get any kind of online beta for this? Are we gonna get some kind of demo for this? When are we gonna get it? How's it gonna like all that fun stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm hoping Evo World, Evo USA, whatever it's called now, is gonna be the place where they announce all these things. Um, because that's I mean that's the place to do it. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay. Question in chat: which character? So Chris, which character do you think should get announced at Evo Japan to get people hyped?
Get people hype. Geese.
But he's dead.
I think it's got to be actual Garou proper character, like Marco the Wolf's character.
Who do you think?
But Geese would be hype, but I don't think they would. If Geese is in the game, I don't think they would do it now.
I think if Geese is in the game, he will be saved for something special.
Yeah.
So who do you think, Gabe?
Who gets it though? Who gets people going?
I would say, let's see. So what have they got right now? They got Terry. They got
Rock,
Kotaru,
Kotaru,
Rock.
Creature, Tizok.
Okay,
Someone just said something in the chat that I think you agree with.
so I would think like safe bet would probably be a Gato.
Yeah.
Honestly, safe bet. I would like to see Grant, but I don't think Grant would hit the same for everybody.
Mhm.
You know, so I think Gato's more in line with that. Or, dude, if they do a Marco reveal, I'll
Yo.
lose it. Actually, Marco.
Yeah,
It's
that's
actually Marco.
so that was gonna be my
It's actually
pick.
Marco. Now that I think about it.
So to me, it has to be Marco. Like, so it doesn't have to be, but if you're saying like get people hype, has to be Marco
Yeah.
because oh hey, it's a Shodo character for non-Fatal Fury people,
It's
right?
It's not just that though. If
Yes,
they've been
yes.
teasing us for like ever,
Since KOF 13, 14, right?
and he's been like around the universe but never participating.
Mhm.
And it's like, hey man, you have Marco right there, and you haven't put him in the game yet. What's
Yep.
going on? And now we have Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves getting announced. Like, oh, you know, the big picture is starting to play out, right? So it's like, okay, show that at Evo Japan,
Mhm.
please. That would get a massive pop, I think. And on top of what you just said about his Shoto character, obviously, and you know, it's such a cool
Marco,
character though.
Gato, Jenny, I guess would be Jenny. I think if they really wanted to mess with me, they'd announce one of those characters that was in the key art. They pull Kane out or something, or Billy.
I actually think they would probably push Cain.
Kain, yeah. Kain.
I think they'd push him a little further down of the reveals because it's like,
Technically,
know.
already been revealed though.
No,
well, not in game
no.
though.
Sure.
Like, I don't
None
even
of
know.
them have been revealed except for Terry and Rock. There's 4 other characters in those promo art, but they have not been revealed.
And then Preacher got shown. So what does that mean for
That's what
Joe?
I'm saying. They
like-
might be cooking that for a while, but if they wanted to mess with us, they would drop one of those characters.
Yeah. Yeah. So Marco for me, Marco for Abe.
Yeah.
Chris, you said Geese, or did you want to say like? Did you want to?
I'm gonna go with Gato.
Gato. Okay. I think both work. I do think Marco will be a bigger one. Doing someone that was already in KOF won't be as big as a pop.
Yeah, that's the
for
reason why I
the
wouldn't go with
overall
Gato,
community.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do think, I do hope rather that SNK is going to market this to people outside of the general SNK KOF community, and just try to do more things like that. I think working with Max, Justin, Kayane was great, smart.
Mhm.
Why bring in like people are going to hate hearing this? Why bring in the 3 of us when they can bring in the 3 of them, right? It's one thing to bring us in or bring in SNK community people, play the game, showcase the game, but we're gonna keep it within that audience. Whereas they reach an audience that we would never get to, that no one in the SNK community can actually pull it.
So I want to have access to that.
Yeah.
And I enjoy watching them enjoy this game.
Mhm.
So, like, it's really fun to watch Justin, Kayane, and Maximilian just kind of gush over how cool just the game looks.
Yeah.
You know?
And you could see it. They're honest. They're genuine about it. Like I knew Max was gonna go just like, man, Rock is like that was his whole thing. It was Rock. I'm like, oh man, I forget he loves Rock so much. And it's not a negative thing. It's great. Rock is such a like. I hate Rock. You guys know this. I don't like the character, but he's such a popular character, and people like his community loves Rock too now. Like he imposed his will again, like on his community. Now they all love Rock, and that's great. I think that's always a good thing.
That's power, baby.
Wait till the Smashers get a hold of this game.
Hey,
Oh,
I'm
man.
ready, man. Bring him
they're
on.
gonna be
Bring
like,
him.
wait.
Why is adult Pokemon trainer wearing this brown suit? What is this?
And then there's this
The
guy
brown
named Rock who's even cooler.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they would say. Is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that that's probably what's gonna happen.
No, that's what they're gonna say. That's what they're gonna say. But we didn't get to play the game, unfortunately. We didn't get to see anything outside of the
I'm
2
glad
trailers.
we didn't. 'Cause
Not me.
I'm gonna sound. It's gonna sound weird, but I'm glad having played Mark of the Wolves now and understanding more about that game. Like I'm down to play now, but
Okay.
I don't normally like to mess around with games that I have like I'm gonna be all thumbs with it and get nothing out of it, and then be like, oh, that was fun. I don't know what to expect.
Um, lost my train of thought. Sorry. Oh yeah, I got it all here. We didn't get to play it. We did attend an after party during SWC, which was it was cool. It was fun. And they gave us a bunch of stuff. They gave us a goodie bag, and they gave us like things like this thing here, City of the Wolves notebook. It's got and I got secrets inside here. See my secrets. No secrets. No
Hey, that's a
secrets.
big party, but I'm kind of
Good
mad
luck
at
on
you.
This this is this is actually really good. Um, they also every goodie bag also came with this here, City of the Wolves button.
Oh,
So for those who don't
what?
know, SWC they gave out like a bunch of buttons to the community. They had like my Kyo. I think I have every button there except for Mary. I took my Mary button. I was like, hey, anyone want this in the crowd? And like a bunch of people raised their hand. I just threw it into the crowd. Um,
Mm.
and I think this is probably the coolest thing. I don't. For those of you who know me, I don't really drink, but I got a Fatal Fury wine bottle. Fatal Fury City of the Wolves wine bottle.
Oh wow.
So,
I got confiscated by TSA.
oh, but this is my baby now. Like I'm just gonna have this.
I didn't get one. Like,
Um, so yeah, the goodie bag was really nice. It was all this stuff. So these are really cool. I guess only people that got the goodie bag got this button, which is pretty cool. I saw Rome posted his. And I forgot who else got him. 'Cause it was a fun little after party. It was cute. That's where we saw DJ Hans,
DJ Hans,
the man who put King of Fighters 13 on the map here in the U.S. For people who don't know.
Unsung hero of the NorCal KOF community.
No, the KOF community.
I mean, you know what? You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
A lot of people owe a ton of stuff to that man.
Yep. But
A lot of communities, not just KOF.
yes, that's what I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
A lot of communities. So I did want to show these off. Again, big thanks to SNK and everyone who showed up to SNK Finals. I do hope SNK World Championship does come back this year. We're not getting City of the Wolves till next year, so it's likely not going to be a part of the tour, unfortunately. But it'll be nice to see it. More Fatal Showdown coming to people, right?
Certainly.
Yeah.
Most certainly.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not going to do this weekly. We unfortunately don't have the time to do it weekly, but we will be announcing shows roughly a week in advance. We do plan to have guests and do special features, all that kind of fun stuff. So it's essentially what we used to do, but more. And we're gonna try to make every episode more special, more involved. There was a gag that I used to do where I made Pockets play a game. Maybe we should bring that back. Hey,
Yeah, let's do it.
go beat Robo Army right now once you see it.
Did he actually beat Sengoku 3 or did he?
No, I beat that. I beat it.
Okay.
I streamed it.
I
The
kind of
game's actually
forgot.
not hard. The game's actually not easy.
It looked like you were having a hard time in one of those. I was like, all right.
There was they had some BS, but I overcame it.
Oh, okay.
Had a lot of beautiful stuff. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, everyone. As always. Well, I don't want to close out just yet. Anything you guys want to say before we close out?
I do want to say, so this channel, we've been streaming Mark of the Wolves, right? On a weekly basis as well, on the weekends, trying to get some games. Again, we're pretty busy, so we can't really tell you exactly what time. I wish we could, because I'd promote it like crazy. But we are showing our matches, our growth with the game, and like I'm loving playing the game. I really, really enjoy it. And Chris has been a part of that. Giby, Nocturnal, and we hope to add some more people onto the mix as far as that goes, so we could all learn together. But yeah, stick to the channel for that. These Garou Marco the Wolf streams. But yeah, like I really look forward to the future with what's going on with SNK and what they have to offer and how we're all gonna be involved in that. And you're gonna hear from us a lot more than usual on a more consistent basis. And when we come here, it's gonna be, like I said earlier, it's gonna be a lot of chunky news to talk about. And Evo Japan hasn't happened yet, so I'm pretty sure by the next time
Oh
we
yeah.
talk, we're gonna have all that info to talk about. So look forward to that. We're definitely gonna cover that topic on the next Fatal Showdown. But yeah, for me, yeah, keep your eyes peeled on that stuff, and appreciate your guys' support. And see you around for the next one. That's all I have to say. And Chris, what you got to say, buddy?
I just want to say I'm glad to be back doing a talk show with my two favorite co-hosts in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you tell all your friends that the Goons are back on up in the podcast business. We want everybody to share in the joy of that is the melodious sounds of our voices as we serenade. I'm starting to sound like I'm an old man here, but no, seriously, thank you guys for joining us for our first episode back of Fatal Showdown. Looking forward to more episodes in the future. Like Gibby said, we got things that we want to do with guests, special things. I'll be playing some games, I guess, now. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And this is honestly what I think I do best other than commentary. So I'm definitely feeling mad comfortable right now, and I'm waiting for more.
One more thing. So as soon as we're done here, I'm gonna get the audio and put it on Spotify. I'm pretty sure I still have the RSS feed subscription, so if you guys came in late and you want to listen to it, it'll be on YouTube and it'll be on Spotify. So keep your eyes peeled on that, and join the Discord if you want to get that news up to date, because I'll definitely be posting that in there immediately as soon as it's done. So,
In real
sorry, go ahead.
time.
Go ahead, Chris.
But yeah, so yeah, post Evo Japan should be something worth discussing. So we'll probably be in touch with you guys pretty soon afterwards. Other than that, yeah, man, thanks for watching. And remember, we're streaming later on tonight, right? Mark of the Wolves.
Yes.
Yeah, so stick around for that. I don't know when we're starting, but yeah, we'll be here tonight playing some matches.
And that's Gibby signing off.
Yeah, well, they can't hear me. They can see me.
Oh.
They're like, "What's going on with him?" Again, sorry everyone for me looking like I'm dying half the time. But yeah, everybody, thanks for watching. We will be back with. The plan is to bring guests from the community, various SNK communities, like we did before, and potentially showcase some other stuff. I do want to showcase some old games that I want people to play, but that might be a different type of segment. That small little excerpts things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. But yeah, everybody, join the Discord, follow the Twitter at Game Goons TV. Follow us all on Twitter as well. Our Twitters are somewhere. Hell Pockets, Manchester, Meta Ape, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've said it enough. Hey, and also, hey, thanks for K Dash for joining. Right, I don't know why K Dash joined today. EOD decided to fall. I mean, he's still on top of Kyo, but you know whatever. We'll have a lot of special guests showing up here in studio. Maybe the other studios too will have them. I don't know. Yeah, everybody, thanks for watching. We're gonna go raid somebody. Y'all have a good one.
See ya.
Peace.